Honest, when you were at school, did you do this? You know what I'm saying? We all sort of went to school, didn't we? We all enjoyed certain classes. Now, I don't know about you, there were certain things that I could not be bothered with. Metalwork, do you remember that? I never thought I was going to be ever making anything useful in metalwork, but that was the problem. You had to do it. Who did a pottery class? Do you remember that? Oh yeah, well, let me put it this way. I got removed from there because the potter's wheel shot off, shall we say. It wasn't exactly my finest hour. Wasn't my fault though, you know. No, it's never our fault, is it? But on a more serious note, it got me thinking about this because recently I was watching a wonderful documentary all about all those brave men and women who did so much behind the scenes for D-Day, particularly as we commemorated, of course, the 80th anniversary. And there was a particular gentleman there that I've been lucky enough to interview a few years back when he came into the studio, Les Underwood, a D-Day veteran. And he basically said this, which got me thinking. Let me explain. Hi, how are you? You all right? We'll have a quick wave. We're on a nighttime shoot, as you can imagine tonight. It's not too late, actually. It's not too cold. In fact, it's actually, I know, it's the right format for me here. You know how warm I get. Yes, it's always lovely to have the free vitamin D, but you can get a bit too warm, can't you? I hope you're all keeping well, whatever you're doing. Lovely to have your company. And this is really just a message out to you because there was a documentary, as I say, all about the wonderful D-Day commemorative stuff. And, you know, it does make you think, doesn't it, about what they all did for us, you know, as I've said to you before. But recently there was also a story in saying that over here in British schools now, they very rarely teach British history, which I find appalling. And this is because we have such a diverse culture. Well, I don't really want to know about that diverse culture, do you? I want to know about British history and why aren't children, particularly born and bred in England, being taught about our wonderful national heritage. But you see, Les, a D-Day veteran, said that there's no such thing as Great Britain anymore because people are embarrassed by our history and refuse to share it. And he's right, because when you think the last of the D-Day veterans, many years to come, who will actually commemorate it? Who will indeed remember it? We're lucky that we have all of these wonderful films like the Dam Busters and things like that, that, you know, depict wonderful things that happened, good and bad, you know, on both sides, that happened during those terrible conflicts. But there's other bits of history, aren't they? Oliver Cromwell, the Gunpowder Plot, you know, Elizabeth I, Francis Drake. We love every single aspect, but apparently it's now all being wiped away. And I wanted to ask you, in your particular country, in your particular area of the world, do they still teach history to your children, grandchildren, whatever? And are you pleased by that? Or do you get very angry by the fact that it's now not being taught? And seemingly, you know, I asked somebody recently, what did you think to Winston Churchill? They had no idea who he was. They barely got an idea who Margaret Thatcher is. But in our day, I knew everything about the press gangs, the medieval navy things, everything. We were taught things. So really, this is just, yeah, it's a bit of a debate between you and I. What do you think they should teach? Is it wrong they don't teach? And more importantly, you tell me, what did you truly listen to in your class? And were you a history buff? And what was the biggest thing that you remember about learning history? And you think, I really took that story in. As I say, I was fascinated by the Georgian times and the Victorian era. And I think that sparked my interest, in fact, then becoming a royal journalist. You know, you kind of think, is this how the rich lived? Well, it's how you live, isn't it? As ever, do like and share, and please comment and remain respectful. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.